For the day, we do have some laggards in terms of reporting season, and that includes Bubs. So Bubs saying for the full year, it incurred a one-off non-cash impairment of $70.8 million, a net loss after tax of $108.4 million. Group revenue for branded products was down 9.2%. It's all looking pretty negative. The other piece of news that Bubs did announce to market is that its US-based infant formula clinical trial is been submitted. So it looks as if it will be submitted this year. It says Bubs is actively taking steps to transition from temporary enforcement discretion to a more permanent market position with the clinical trial study designed to evaluate growth, tolerance, and safety of its new infant formula. So that gives us an idea of where Bubs is really putting the focus, right? That North American infant formula market. Yeah. It's a massive one, but this is not a company without its troubles.
No, definitely. Management troubles as well as then overall outflows and higher cost revenue, obviously lower as well. But I think overall, Bubs is one of those businesses that with goat's formula, the market got all excited about that US expansion. They were rightly to do that, but the problem is that China is dragging the chain for a lot of this revenue that's coming through, and that's being offset by higher American numbers, but lower Chinese numbers. And so I think the market was certainly looking for that China story to really push forward. But they've said that there's lots of excess stock and a lot of inventory that they can't get rid of in China, so hence why that's coming off, all that revenue, that outward costs are going to be higher. So yeah, I think overall for me, this is somewhere where you do not need to be unless you can start to see some costs are being lowered and revenue starting to move higher. I would say get out, and it's a sell.
It's a sell. Now, you look at that chart, Michael, definitely in a downgrade cycle. Yep. Is there value in Bubs?
How do you value it when revenue's going backwards? So that's the problem. So you've got, they're trying to expand in the US. That's great if everything else was humming along quite nicely. I mean, in Australia, things seem to be going okay, but then you've got the issue with China and everything's going backwards. So, and even in the US, that's not a guarantee. So they've got this temporary FDA approval, and they're still trying to get the permanent approval, or whatever you call it, formal approval. That probably won't happen until I think October 2025. So you've got that uncertainty. What if there's an issue there? Wow, that's their growth engine at the moment. So everything's predicated on that coming through, or the Chinese. How do they call it? A reset. So when a company's undergoing a reset, I think it's early days. It may work out, but at this point in time, I think it's just way too cloudy to take a punt. Even at 17 cents, it could be quite a bit lower than that. So okay. I'd be definitely avoiding and selling here as well.
Okay, that's two sells. I had one of a double sell yesterday. It doesn't happen very often,
no.
Really. Yeah, so that's stock of the day. That's the verdict from these two expert guests. Really interesting because, of course, Bubs does take up a bit of newspaper copy because of its boardroom troubles. And I got to say, I'm glad I'm not running the company. It sounds like a difficult job at hand.